Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Hardcore Dave.
And this is a bit of a summary. We are literally an hour or so away from episode 10. And we have to catch up like crazy.
We're going to summarize the season.
Yeah, the past episodes 7, 8, and 9, which were This Means War, Liar Liar, and American Psycho. And I summed it up in about 6 bullet points, and we'll just kind of discuss it from there. And then part 2, I will recap episode 10, right?
Awesome.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Or, for some reason, maybe I'll have to step away, and I won't be able to watch the episode. Wouldn't that be terrible? And then I'll just have to rely on you.
Is this foreshadowing?
It might be. If there's any writers out there, and if you know what foreshadowing is, we gave it all away. All right. Let's sum up some crap. So my first point is ratings. The average ratings has been really good this season, and we've actually done something that we haven't done in a while. By we, I meant the challenge universe, the fans, the challengers, the producers, all that stuff. We've hit 1 million, and that's awesome. The average per episode is 0.84. So that's, what is that? 84,000? No, 840,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something like that.
And that's crazy because Final Reckoning, the previous season, it was so bad. That 0.84, that was basically their peak episode. So yeah. This is a very solid season right now. And we've hit 1 million. Something tells me episode 10 won't. I don't know why. I have my doubts.
Foresight? You're like Bran Stark over here.
Yeah, my God, I'm fucking yeah.
Yeah, the ratings this year have been great, and
why is that?
I remember a couple weeks ago they were even saying they were looking at Wednesday night, that time slot. The challenge was the best or the highest rated thing on cable TV. There was the NBA on TNT. That was actually that was the only thing that was even close to it.
Wow.
It was number 1 on cable TV. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's the highest rated thing on MTV. This is great because we love the challenge and we've been through some of the dog years, some of the bloodlines.
Oh God, yeah.
Invasion, yeah. Some of those stinker seasons that weren't good. And we podcast for those and we had a lot of complaints. And we voiced our opinions on how it was bad and what they needed to do to fix it. And this year, this season is awesome. War of the Worlds is the best season we've had, I would say, since, I don't know, what would you say?
For a while, Exodus 2 was amazing, and then it just kind of nosedived, for me, personally.
Yeah, that was a good season.
But it was a good season, yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably, 5 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, this War of the Worlds is great, and the reason I think the ratings are doing so well is because they kind of took some of our advice, and the way they structure the episodes, the format, the lack of, getting rid of the redemption house.
Yeah.
Because everybody hated that. They've always hated it. And that, because it ruined it, because no one was ever really sent home. You just got sent to the redemption house. A couple episodes later, you're probably going to come back.
Yeah. We've seen Johnny Bananas get eliminated twice. In 2 different seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so getting rid of that, and then also the way they format the episodes.
Which is basically going back to their roots.
Yes.
This is how every episode used to be. And they just stopped with the cliffhangers.
Yeah, you start off the first 5 minutes of the episode, and you just have the cast in the house. You're showing, some of the alliances, the politics, the relationships, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then they go to the mission. And then after the mission, then you have a little bit more house politics because you know who won and who's in power. People are kind of trying to lobby for why they should or should not go into elimination or get voted.
Yeah.
And then they go to elimination, and then that's the episode. So you have the mission and the elimination, same episode. I mean, how many freaking times in some of those seasons on Dirty 30, on Vendettas, where they have these half-part episodes where they only show a mission, they show an elimination, the beginning of an elimination, and then they cut off.
Yeah.
Because they have a double elimination. It's a guy's elimination and girl elimination. They show one of them and then they cut off, and then they're like, all right, next week you'll see the rest. Or remember that time Tony got hurt and they were walking to elimination, and then he falls over and he's turning green.
Yeah. He's like, it's not easy being green.
Was it at Bloodlines when Shane was there, or was that on Rivals 3?
That was, fuck. Bloodlines. That was Bloodlines.
Bloodlines, yeah. They
Shane was
would
there
always
for that.
split up all the episodes like that. It was terrible because it never had any momentum. They thought they were building momentum by editing it that way, but they weren't. They were doing the opposite.
Oh.
And they figured that out this season, and now every episode is awesome.
Well, did they figure it out, or was it like... I'm curious because remember, we're coming off of Final Reckoning, and even in the promotion, Johnny Bananas was like, this is the end of an era. And I was like, yeah, right, they're just saying it to close up this so-called trilogy. But in a way it has. Were old producers fired, and they're like, hey, stop with the cliffhangers. We're bringing in these purists. They grew up on Gauntlet 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They know how to do it. I think Gauntlet 2 might have been split into twos, though. No, Gauntlet 3 was. Yeah. No, wait, Gauntlet 3 was episodes that were supposed to be separate, and then they were edited back together. Anyways, holy
I
shit.
don't even remember those seasons. It was so long ago.
Okay, well, in this discussion of ratings, we've talked about the structure not getting fucked with, right? The other thing I have to say is that this giant fresh cast is good.
Yes.
It was good for Fresh Meat 1. It was good for Fresh Meat 2, The only reason why it didn't work well for Battle of the Bloodlines is because you couldn't just cast anyone. They had to happen to be related to probably the only person in that family to have charisma, because that's who got hired in the first place, So, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
on
work.
Bloodlines it was weird because some of the family members had some charisma, and then some of them just didn't at all. Like Jenna, you had Brianna, who didn't really have a whole lot of charisma.
Brianna
And then,
won us
like-
over, remember that?
She did at the end. She
Yeah.
finally came around, but she was really
No,
annoying
I-
in the beginning part of that season.
You're
If you look at-
rewriting history. I was always trying to say, like, hey, pay attention to Brianna. And you kept on calling her, like, Bianca or something.
Yeah, Brittany.
Brittany, yeah.
But then there was Anissa's. What was Anissa's cousin's name? I don't remember her name.
Fuck.
But like she was a lame partner.
But she had a
There
good
was-
personality, though.
No,
Dude.
Corey thought she was
She
alright.
was?
Probably.
No, okay. Yeah.
But there was
Are you
there were so many partners that were lame on this season.
Yeah.
Legit, every new cast member, like you said, is fresh because this season is based off of Fresh Meat, where you have a vet partner, then you bring in the new outsider.
Yep.
And all the matchups work. Like everybody on this season has been great. Like the entire cast, like top to bottom. Like there are people I like and people I dislike. Like every season, that's the way it should be because that's what makes the show fun.
Yeah.
But even the people I hate, they're still fun to watch and they're interesting.
Yeah. And thank God it's very competitive. Like there's been a
Mhm.
lot of back and forth in terms of who's getting into that tribunal or whatever.
Yeah, and I was really worried about the cast going into this season because I was like, "Whoa, wait, Tony's not here, Devin's not here, like Nelson isn't here, Corey's not here. Like, there's a lot of the Young Buck Alliance isn't here. Like, Shane's not coming back. Brad isn't here. On the girls' side, Tori isn't here. Brittany isn't here.
Yeah, holy shit. Tori, yeah, what a fall from grace for her.
Yeah, Tori's great. I hope she comes back next year.
But she fell from grace, so not that great. Okay, let's get on to my second point overall. The missions / team rankings. Now, we've had Eye in the Sky, Brain Freeze, and Road Warrior. Sorry. Eye in the Sky, that was when they were on the balancing beams and they had like...
The VR
Oculus.
goggles. Yeah.
goggles. And that was pretty cool. That was one of the best twists of a gravity thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a heights balance.
Yeah.
Make your way across that.
Because they do that a lot, but it's nothing memorable or innovative, really. Not since Inferno 3, when they were out on that canyon and they were attached to ropes, and they would have to like circle around so the rope would slowly wrap around the one person's waist while they... Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was so hard because you couldn't let the rope get slack and hit the beam.
Yeah.
Remember that? So this is the closest thing to like, wow, not only was this a height challenge, but it brought something new.
Wow, I really like this challenge, but that one was way better.
Yeah, we're taking it away. And then we also have Brain Freeze. That was the one where they finally get out of the desert.
It's
And
a
they
water
go to the
challenge,
ocean.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got all like the 3D Tetris puzzle pieces in the
Yeah.
ocean. And they're floating out there. I thought it was disrespectful that they called it brain freeze, and then they're like, the water is like 59 degrees, and you're like, 59? Like, that's not cold. Come on.
You know, I don't swim often enough to realize how cold something would be. That's not cold.
No, not really.
No.
Because when it aired, I live in northern Wisconsin.
So do
It
I,
was like-
Dave. So do I.
It was like negative 20 outside the week before, and I'm like, 59 degrees? That sounds like a hot bubble bath to me.
Yeah.
But that was fun. It was, a swimming challenge. There was nothing like overall special about it, but you had to be able to swim, and you had to bring those wooden pieces that were floating in the water, and everyone's smacking them against their faces
Right.
because they're trying to swim and carry the piece, and then they had to put it together at the end.
My only thing about it, and it's not even like a positive or a negative, slightly negative, is that they broke the overall theme of the missions. It's all been in the desert,
Sand and
like,
desert and
like
dry.
post-apocalyptic and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
only thing. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's a good nitpick. But the challenge always has water things, so
Yeah.
they had to kind of integrate it in one of them.
Yeah, that's true. That too bad they couldn't think of like a quicksand challenge or something like that. Yeah, there we go. That'd be.
But
the
they
same
did
one.
they did do the mud wrestling one, kind of. Remember with the ball, they got Zach sent home.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
where they're going through that, wrestling each other, trying to get the ball across the goal.
So these missions, although a little bit swerving off of the theme established, so far it's just fine. In terms of swerving, let's talk about Road Warrior, right? I mean, this was the heavily touted image of that truck and people swinging back and forth and
This
stuff.
is in all the trailers.
Yeah.
It looks just like Mad Max, the movie.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the imagery of this season is kind of pulling from Mad
Fury
Max.
Road, which left Dave furious. I remember I was like, "Hey man, you ever watch Mad Max Fury Road?" And you just went on this 18-minute just like attacking the movie.
I hated it. I watched it in theaters. I thought it was so terrible. Like all the special effects and all the action was great.
Yeah.
The entire plot of the movie was terrible. They spent like an hour and a half getting somewhere, and then when they got there, they're like, "Oh, there's no fresh water here." Okay, well now what do we do? Well, now we have to go home. And then they spent the whole second half of the movie going home, and then when they get there, they're like, "Oh, they had water here. Okay, yay."
Clearly,
The
you've never.
plot and the dialogue was severely lacking. Like special effects and the directing of it, brilliant, but just no dialogue. War of the Worlds, however, has great dialogue, great story, great plot, great characters.
Yeah.
Love it, and it's
Is-
also got the action too.
Is Wes R. Tom Hardy?
Oh yes.
Oh my god! Yeah, put the Bane mask on Wes. He's like, "I hate bananas."
Is Tom Hardy in Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
That's what. Awesome.
Okay, who's Charlize Theron? I think it would be Devon, because Devon is legit the most entertaining female on this season.
Oh, you said entertaining,
Yeah.
not visually, but entertaining overall.
Yeah. Why? Who did you have in mind?
No, I'm just trying to think back, like, of the girls.
Or you're
Now
just
I'm
thinking of
being
Zahida, is what you're thinking.
I'm just being so shallow right now. It shouldn't matter what the girls look like, actually. There's not a lot to choose from, so.
Yeah, Zahida went home, so now you're out of options.
Zahida, exactly. You knew I liked Zahida, or you were just like, Vince is a Zahida guy.
Oh, every guy is a Zahida guy.
Damn it, you know what? That's what pissed me off back in grade school. I was like, you know what? I kind of like girls. And some of these guys didn't like girls at the time. They were like, ew, gross, girls. What are you talking about?
Goodies.
I'm like, what about that pussy? No, I didn't know what a pussy was, but I was just like, girls, man. But and the girl that I liked, that next year, that's when all the other guys were into girls, and that was the same girl. And I'm like, God damn it, like,
You're
why?
ahead of your time.
Yeah, but I also felt like I had terrible taste because there was nothing unique about it. I wasn't going for the girl with personality or something like that. I was just going for the hottest girl, and that was it. Kind of, I let myself down a little bit.
grade school.
Going with your animal instincts. That's what most guys do.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed of being yourself, Vince.
Yeah, and I guess you wouldn't have that rich a palate for pussy. No, you wouldn't have a rich palate for who you're attracted to at the time. You know, it's very basic at first,
Yeah.
perhaps. Yeah.
It was not until like my mid-20s where I actually started to account into a girl's personality and whether I like them or not.
Yeah, you were one of those guys where like, or no, you know how those girls are like, I won't even talk to a guy unless his height is 6 foot, whatever. You know,
yeah.
and above. And
I'm
the
on
guys
the
are
dating
always-
websites where you're like, must be 6 foot tall. Like, what the hell?
You know, I'm
Are
5'11".
there qualifiers? Or like,
We're both 5'11", right?
yeah.
And we could pass for 6 foot. Really, you just got to put
Round
some
up.
shoes on.
Yeah.
Maybe some lifts.
No.
Took it down a
I
little
wouldn't be
bit.
lifts.
Oh
I got my runners over there with the thick heels on it.
yeah.
So
But Road Warrior, that was well, actually, we've kind of seen that before.
yeah,
was
we've
okay.
seen similar stuff.
It was okay.
It was awesome. It's I liked it better than the other two, for sure.
All right.
Because like the swimming one, you're swimming and putting together a puzzle. It's nice because those are things that you're going to need to do in a final. You will need to swim. You'll need to do a puzzle. So it helps you learn about the cast and the teams and the players, who's good at what. This swinging stuff, it's a lot of fun because you can see people kind of panic and freak out and not be able to do it. Same with the heights challenge with the VR goggles, blindfolded. You get to see how good they are at balance, how good they are at kind of just calming themselves and just doing the task at hand
Sure.
rather than just panicking and freaking out.
This is the ultimate test for their friendship, but spoilers, that friendship is gonna. I mean, that team is going away. They're gonna be individuals after this. That was the last
True.
time we saw them working with each other.
Yeah.
Really?
So the teams are being split up and everyone's going to be on their own.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that?
Part of me was like, well, I guess I was gonna talk about that later on with my 6th point, first
Okay, yeah,
twist
let's
of
go
the
on.
season. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I'll talk about it then. But okay, so what I wanted to do was rank the players because now these are just individuals, right?
Okay.
But we'll
Yep.
just kind of see where they lie there. First, I would say Devon and Bear are at the very end. Throughout this season, until they go single, they've had 1 mission win and 2 elimination wins. Right? So they're dead last. Not to say that they're bad. Again, they're
Are
all
you putting them last because they had wins?
No, I mean, well, compared to everyone else's wins and losses and wins, this is overall leading up to the point where they're now single people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I'll go through the list and people are gonna have way more mission.
I feel like Bear's sneaky good, and Bear's best performance was the VR goggles and that. Because everyone else was slowly walking across it, and Bear just basically just ran it. Like, and nobody else was doing that. And what he did was, Devon even said it. Devon has a podcast, and she was talking on the
really?
podcast. Yeah, it's amazing. You have to check it out. I don't remember the name of it, but you can just type in
Good, because I don't want you to fucking be like,
hey, tune out everybody and go to her.
It's great though. And she was describing what happened, and Bear just says to Devon, hey, listen, you gotta trust me. Just trust me. And Bear they're harnessed together back to back. Bear just picks her up on his back and just runs it and does it on his own.
That is
Like,
awesome.
he went for it and did it. And it was a great performance, and it made me really like appreciate Bear.
So what you're saying is,
Put Bear in every time into elimination, and he will send the other guy home and win over us.
Good.
Are you willing to put money down that Bear is gonna win this whole thing right now? Not having seen episode 10 yet, of course. So.
I'll put down $1.
I'll see that dollar. But yeah, right now they're being told being called dead last is not appropriate, but they just happen to be lowest ranking so far, right? 1 mission win overall, but 2 elimination wins, right? Okay, let's get to the next. Kyle and Maddie. They have 2 mission wins and elimination win,
Mm-hmm.
right?
their elimination win is basically Kyle being able against JP and CT.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was the one where JP kind of screwed over CT. And
They were
basically,
both attacking. Well, Kyle got his off of JP, so then both of them were just going against CT at the same time, right?
Yeah, and JP just kept. I don't know. I felt like the only reason Kyle won that is because JP ended up just focusing on CT rather than him.
Maybe he was confused because he's like, JP,
CT, CD, NO, OSP. Like, what do I do here?
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
What's my initials?
Yeah.
KY?
And like Kyle, like they've said, is like he's sneaky. He lets people into that false sense of security that he's not any good.
right.
But then, because that's how we got to the final on the Vendettas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the underdog. He kind of acts like he's not that good, but he is good.
Yeah.
He's not great at everything, but he is really good.
Yeah.
And then, but Maddie, for a girl, she's like 6'1" or something. She's super tall and big. She's everything you would want in a competitor,
Yeah.
and everyone's
All
terrified of her.
All American.
And she's super nice and likable too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So they're ranked that. Next ranking though, we have Nani and Turbo with 3 mission wins, 0 elimination wins, but that's because they were never chosen to go in. Or anything like that. So yeah, they got 3 mission wins. And I just want to say this, without knowing the future or anything like that, I have strong feelings, whether Turbo was good or not, that he could possibly win this because producers are always giving him like special effects and stuff. Like when he celebrates,
Oh,
they give
yeah.
him like a glowing sun so he can shoot it out, and they
Yeah.
always give
It's
him
like Dragon Ball Z and shit.
Yeah, and he's done it more than once. He's done it like 3 or 4 times where
Yeah,
producers,
just punch the ground.
Yeah. yeah, they work with him and shit, and then Nani's like, Turbo, you're silly, you so bad.
Okay, so I just want to say that's totally false. There's no special effects. Those things are real. Turbo generates that power in his hands.
Yeah, that's like
He's from Turkey, man. They could do that shit there. I think he's from Turkey, right? I hope I'm not wrong.
He won Survivor Turkey. Is that an asterisk if he's from Turkey? Like, oh, I survived America. I'm American. Yeah, that's right. My name's Bob. I grew up here.
What? You totally lost me. What's happening?
I won Survivor America. Survivor. Where are we? Ohio? Yeah.
Wait, so there's Survivor Turkey?
Yeah, and that's what he won. He
So
won
it was
Survivor Turkey.
only. Is it only people from Turkey in Survivor Turkey, or was it
I
a
thought-
season of Survivor that took place in Turkey?
Oh, good point. I don't know. Maybe it was Turkey Survivor, or was it Survivor Turkey? If it was Survivor Turkey, then that means.
It's like Baby Clown or Clown Baby. Oh man, the
Okay.
debate will rage on. We don't know his origins, but we know he's a superhero.
And we can't give all the props to only Turbo. Nani is, she's not terrible either. Like, she is
Yeah.
talented. I just find her personality, whatever, it doesn't agree with me. That's all it is.
See, you
That's all it
just
is.
like Nani's personality, and I disliked her years ago when she was new on the challenge.
Oh gosh, gotta be a hipster over
Once
here.
once
Before
she
it
was
cool.
in Rivals 3, when she was paired with Wes, she really began to grow on me, and I started to like her then. And then, so from Rivals 3, and then continuing on to World of Worlds, I really like Nani now. And when we did the premature pre-show for this season, I said one of my favorite teams to win could be Nani and Turbo. And they just, both of them together, they work great. And Turbo, he just learns from Nani. Nani's a vet. Turbo called Nani yeah, she's
Mom.
like my mother.
Yeah, it's also mom,
She takes
right?
care of me. She tells me what to do.
Yeah.
And then he just uses his superpowers to do awesome things. It's great. I love both of them.
They should have gave Nani special effects whenever she was being a bitch at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, you wore that. Smoke a cigarette and shit. Like that.
She got laser. I was super bummed when they break apart the teams. The fact that Nani and Turbo are not together, because I really like that team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say there aren't other teams that are probably more physically better, because you could say Theo and Kara, are better athletes.
But you just
You
like
know?
their relationship to each
Yeah, I
other.
like their relationship. They're both level-headed. They're going to work as a team no matter what.
I'm gonna ignore that level-headed part.
Sober,
Turbo might be
sober
level.
Nani is a level-headed
Yeah.
Nani, and she
God, I don't know.
keeps it clean nowadays.
When she's sober, when was the last time she was sober?
They don't go out to the club that much.
You don't gotta
They
go.
did
to the
like
club to
3
get
episodes in a
booze.
row. It was like bizarre.
They're always standing around with wine in their hands.
Like no matter what, sipping it, bitching,
That's
bitching,
great
cutting-
juice.
Cutting
Great
people's
juice.
words. Yeah, great drink. All right. Next we have a tie. Yeah, I think this is a tie. Paula. Oh, Polly.
Paula.
Paula's back.
Polly.
Polly
And
and Ninja Natalie, and Hunter and Georgia both share 3 mission wins this season, and they both have a win in the elimination.
Okay. I guess those statistics are a tie, but Polly and Ninja are a way better team.
Than Hunter and Georgia.
Yeah. Ninja is way better than Georgia. And Polly, I think, is way better than Hunter. Like, Hunter is big and muscly, but Polly has a somewhat level head, and he's a little more cool and calculated. Hunter's way too emotional. He's freaking out this season. Hunter has been a basket case. Ever since Ashley stole his money last year, like, Hunter, I really wanted this to be like his redemption and like him doing something great, and like he sent her home week 1, and I thought that was the start of something great. But ever since then, like, Hunter's just been letting me down, just like being bonkers all the time.
What was it saying? You could take the South out of the trailer.
I don't remember how it goes, but no, I'm kidding.
Of course.
But no, yeah, Hunter's been very emotional. He kind of reminds me of Danny. Remember Wes's
Oh yeah.
best friend?
Oh my gosh, that's a great comparison. A Wes ally.
Yeah.
That is what's the term? He's like a little
Well, he's a liability.
he's a liability, but I guess he's a little like self-conscious, I guess, or like he constantly feels like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
It's like, even when like you just back off, lay off, just chill, but like anytime someone says something, he has to like freak out about it. And it's like, dude, you got nothing to prove, just back off.
Yeah.
But he constantly overreacts over stuff. And it's crazy because I've always been a huge fan of Hunter, like every season.
Yeah.
Up until this one, I'm just like, whoa, Hunter. This is not the Hunter I know and love.
Yeah, well,
Not having money can change a man, I guess.
I guess. He's got to get the money this year.
All right. Well, next team. Oh, well, let's just go back to the fact that Hunter and Georgia, they weren't really getting along. They had that moment where they pretended to be in couples therapy and just lied his ass off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Give me the goddamn Oscar right now.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey ain't got shit on me. In terms of
I
the
mean-
Southern.
Well, the thing is like Hunter,
Oh,
the way that you watch an episode, Hunter for like 2 scenes in a row on camera, he'll act sane and he'll act normal and he'll say normal things, and then he's like doing an apology to Georgia, and then he spazzes out and just freaks out on her, and it's like, dude, I thought like you were like calm and level-headed, and maybe it was just the alcohol at the bar last night that made you like turn evil and like be an asshole. No, it was like even the next day, he's still being an asshole.
yeah, he lacks finesse for sure.
Yep.
And then Polly and Ninja, they worked really well together, but overall, was it Natalie Ninja who was like, I feel like I really don't know Polly though, or something like that? Was it that?
Yeah.
Because someone had a conversation where they're like, and I think it was this the part where Dee was like, I don't know what Wes does, and
Yeah,
Wes is,
exactly.
"Oh,
Yeah. Oh, well, Wes, he kind of sneaks into this conversation they're having, and he hears her talking about him. He's like, yeah, I'm like a pancreas. You don't know what I do, but without me, you would die.
That's awesome.
It was a great line, and because both of them can agree on that, like Ninja and Dee, they're really good friends, and both of their partners, they've been on the show before. They both have their vendettas or their rivals that they go against. Like Polly is always against what's his name, Kyle, and Wes is against like Bananas and Bear. and they're running the political game, and they're new here, and they're like, well, what is my role? I don't feel like I ever talk to my partner ever. Like, we just hang out by ourselves, and then there's a mission. I'm like, oh yeah, Wes, come and hang out with me.
Wes and Dee have a slight bit of a bonding advantage because he taught her how to swim. Remember that?
Yeah, he did. He must have taught her well too.
Yeah.
Like they showed us that scene, where they're learning how to swim, and Wes is like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend like she's doing awesome." We saw, like a minute of that. That was probably going on a lot in that pool. I'm sure Wes was giving her tons of lessons. They edited it down to 1 minute. This is probably going on like every day. Like I think she was training because for her to go out in that mission and do as well as she did, like there was a lot of training going into that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get to the second to best team in the rankings, or whatever. I don't know. I just have it as follows: Kara and Theo with 4 mission wins in the season. No elimination wins because they were never really targets.
So to get a mission win, we're just talking getting in the top 3 and getting into the council.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The small council.
So we have Kara and Theo, and this is weird because it goes to a different point later on where I talk about UK Alliance and the Kara versus Kyle thing. They were both involved in 2 different things that didn't really affect each other. Wes was against the UK, and so other people were, but Kara didn't give a shit about the UK Alliance. She was just after Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now these 2 could separate, Kara and Theo, and it's no harm, no foul, or
Yeah. It was like together they're a great team. They're both phenomenal athletes, and yeah, their mode of how they operate is going to stay the same. Like Kara has been totally focused on one thing and one thing only. And it's not her boyfriend Polly. It's her ex Kyle. She's only focused on her ex, which is fucked up to me, Kara. Maybe you should, move on to your current guy you're with. But instead, she's so focused on her ex. All she kept, I gotta get him out.
That's what's affecting the coolness factor for Polly. I still can't welcome him with open arms, even though he's doing good. It's because I'm like, dude, your girl is constantly like, oh, is Kyle watching? I hope so.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sucks.
Oh, I've had girlfriends talk about their exes, and I shut that down. I was like, no. I'm like, I do not want to hear one more story about your ex, all right? I don't give a shit how big of... I'm like, you telling a story about how big of a douchebag he was...
You didn't finish it the first time. You were like, I don't care how big of a dick, and then you just stopped. I was like, a big of a dick?
I was going to say big of a douchebag.
I know, but then you stopped, and then I was like, whoa. Like you let something slip, you're like, oh, never mind. We don't mention that.
Oh, wow. We need to edit this out. It was purely coincidental, incidental.
But yeah, these 2 separated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kara, whether she's together with Theo or not, it's like her vote was always going for Kyle. And Theo, when he would get into the troika or whatever they call it, the council, a lot of times he would just go with Kara and be like, yeah, I'll throw in Kyle too.
As long as it didn't involve...
Yeah.
It's
weird because Kyle is a UK person, but he's not in the UK Alliance.
He burned his fucking citizenship card, man. Remember that when he was like, fuck England, fuck the Queen, or something
He's
like
like,
that?
I got a visa straight from Donald Trump's desk.
I watched the King's speech. Give the Oscar back, or something like that,
Colin Firth can suck it.
You can suck it.
I've never seen the movie. All I know is that it's the guy who does speeches and has a stutter.
Wow. Okay. Next, Wes and Dee with 4 mission wins, tied with Kara and Theo, but they have the 1 elimination win, which I think just gains experience points, giving you a lot more like confidence.
Who was their elimination win against?
Zach and sexy ass Sahida.
Oh yeah.
Hotness. Lingerie, lace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good win against them. Because Zach and Zahida were both really good. I'm honestly shocked that Zach and Zahida were gone so soon this season because I felt like they're a competitive team. The only The only thing is Zach rubs a lot of people the wrong way, so that gets that team in trouble. They end up in elimination a lot.
Well, this isn't about Zach, is he?
And Zach's decision making when it comes to who he's going to go in elimination against, like, you know, he calls out Wes, like, you're calling out your own demise.
Yeah,
I almost think it was like a self-inflicted wound.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man. No one cares about Zach. Moving on.
All right. Well, hold on. Now, I'll just say this. They had a good relationship. Even though Dee was like, I don't really know Wes too well, when they would interact, they seemed to do very well. Wes was very complimentary of her and would always, like, kind of, when he boasted the both of them up, you know? So there was never, I felt like it was a good relationship. And I don't think they were both against the UK, you know? So I think they're both going to be fine separating ways. Or they might even work together still. I think he put in enough goodwill.
And
you know?
that's the thing is once they take the partners and separate them, it's like, are they still just going to be their own separate people, or will some of the teams still kind of remain teams? Were they good enough partners? Like if you have Hunter and Georgia, and they didn't totally get along a whole lot, maybe they won't really stick together.
Yeah.
But then when you have Wes and D, it's like, oh, they got along. They could stick together as an alliance outside of it.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen for a lot of these teams. It'll be interesting to see how the chips fall.
Speaking of chips,
You know where they eat that? In the UK. UK Alliance here, you know, fish and chips.
Oh, yeah. I love Friday Night Fish Fry.
You Christian or something like that? Isn't that a thing? Like, isn't that
for
why?
Lent.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Lent. Lent every Friday? I thought it was like every fucking once a year for Lent.
Well, it's a period between something happening and Easter.
Oh,
Was it Good Friday? Well, no, not Good Friday, but I don't know. Whenever the beginning of Lent is, there's a name for that
I
day.
have no idea.
So yeah, there's like a month period.
I just know that sometimes in school, kids would show up with ash on their fucking foreheads. I was like, is this cool? Like, is this the new look? But then I was like, oh wait, this is kind of periodically. Like,
Some
what just
people use a
happened?
marker. It's not always ash. But
I wanted to fit in. I got some mud. And they're like, oh, we knew you were an Indian. I'm like, hey, fuck off, man. Either way, man. Indian, American Indian. You got it all covered, man. Like, son of a bitch.
So the Catholics who come up with like, and they have that ash or whatever on their forehead.
Oh, they were Catholics?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, honestly, I don't know anything about this. What is this? Good? In the sky? Good? What is your...
God.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah.
God. Yeah. Okay. But so as a Native American, you know how you guys pray to trees and rivers and land and animals?
I just know the sun.
sun?
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus is the sun, right?
Jesus.
Jesus.
I think that's Spanish for Jesus. You guys may have just misinterpreted.
And then
Sounds
Maury.
Maury.
That's when she turned to Joseph and said, "You're not the father."
Oh my god. And then they're like, it was Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
Have a break.
Joseph starts dancing and shit.
A free man, no chat support.
Oh my gosh.
I had a point there, but I think we finished it fine.
All right. Well, this is the third point overall, bullet point, if you will, and we already touched on this. The house has been divided into two separate wars or something like that. This is like Iraq and Iran. They're like, oh, we're in two separate wars. It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
or
this
something
is
like
the
that.
American Revolution right here, you know? It's
Yeah.
America versus the UK.
Yeah.
Or-
Is that the... What was that? Like the Philly Bell and shit? Was that it?
Yeah, Boston Tea Party, man.
Oh my
So that
gosh.
tea
Carmen
was
Maria.
like-
Carmen Maria, though, she's from Boston, but she's not part of this UK alliance thing. She's just constantly trying to flirt with Kyle.
She's on her own team.
Okay, let me just write this now. Mention this. I wrote down Carmen Maria is a eavesdropper, a dropper of eaves. She's always listening in on people. That's not her business.
She heard Bear talking to his cousin.
Yes.
And then she's telling Georgia about it and having, hey, Georgia, come down and listen to Bear talk to his cousin.
Then
But
she's-
maybe it's not his cousin.
listening in on Zach, talking to Kyle about, like, yeah, she just likes you. That's all it is. And she's like, oh, how dare that. But like Cara Maria, 3 to 4 times this season is just constantly just listening in like a fucking weirdo. Don't you think that's weird?
Yeah.
I would be pissed.
Well, and yeah, it's not a good kind of person to be the person who's trying to stir drama. And the thing is, we all know where Carl learned this from. Johnny Bananas.
Yeah.
Johnny Bananas is the king of this, you know? When there's drama going down, like him waking up Tony to like, hey, you need to talk to your partner Camilla, even though Tony was drunk. Like, just kind of hearing stuff going on, Bananas goes and seeks out the person and kind of introduces the conflict to each other when it wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yeah.
And Cara's doing that. And you know what? Bear's cheating, on his girl at home or whatever.
That's
He's
his cousin,
cheating.
man.
I doubt that. He's from the UK. I hear they're into that stuff. It's like Game of Thrones up there. Bear's cheating on his girl back home or his cousin back home. It doesn't matter if they're related or not. And then he's cheating on Georgia. And Bear deserves to be called out on that because he's a cheater and he's a liar. So part of me is like, I don't care if you want to call him out because if Carr didn't do it, somebody else should have. So I can't really hold that against Cara on this season. It wasn't a good look because it does go with a pattern of behavior for Cara.
Yeah.
Unpleasant pattern of behavior,
Very immature. If she, I don't know, she keeps on saying like, oh, girls are looking up to me to be like this Wonder Woman of sorts. And she's really not. She could probably lift heavy shit like Wonder Woman does. Does Wonder Woman lift heavy shit in the movie? Do you ever watch
Never
it?
seen it.
Why, do you hate women? You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I heard the actress was a feminist, so I was like, I'm not watching it.
No,
I'm
you're
just
thinking-
kidding.
You're thinking,
Dude, I don't watch superhero
You're
movies.
thinking Captain
I have
Marvel.
not seen Infinity War. I have not seen like any superhero movies.
Yeah, but you take.
I
so
saw
much
Guardians
pride
of the
in it.
Galaxy
Like,
1
I
and 2,
don't
and that
know.
was it. I like Guardians of the Galaxy was good.
You're like a guy who likes to brag that he hasn't seen Game of Thrones yet.
No, I love Game of Thrones. All I do is
No,
watch
I'm
Game
saying
of
you're
Thrones.
like a guy who's like, yeah, oh, you're watching what is this, Infinity War, what have you?
There's a million
whatever.
superhero movies. How can I be expected to keep up with it all? Like, honestly. And you can watch one superhero movie and just copy and paste the plot into the next one. Like, a lot of them are the
not in
same.
terms of Infinity War. That was really
Okay,
good.
maybe those are the exceptions. So maybe I should watch those.
Number 4. I want to talk about Cam's record-breaking elimination, and there's going to be more to this real quick. Amanda and Josh, where they beat Amanda and Josh, Cam became 6-0. She actually passed up Sarah Grayson's record of 5-0 and Emily's record of 5-0.
Not counting Champs versus Stars.
Not counting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, Cam's awesome. She's killer Cam.
But let's go back with Amanda and Josh and how they lost. They fell off the contraption.
Yeah.
But what happened exactly?
So what I saw online from one of the members of the cast, I don't recall who, but it was on Twitter, in that elimination where it was Amanda and Josh versus Ashley and Cam, where they had the giant barbell, and then there's a giant wall with these notches.
It's like the salmon ladder
And-
from Ninja Warrior kind of.
Yeah, and you have to slowly climb up, but both partners in unison have to notch that giant steel bar into the next ring and climb up it that way. During that, Amanda and Josh fall. They couldn't get there. Like, Josh kind of lifted it off, but then it slid to
They
the
were doing
side.
so well too. It was
Yeah, they
tragic.
were doing really good, and they were beating Cam and Ash. Cam and Ash were kind of just stuck there. But once they fell, Cam and Ash, they turned back to back, and then they worked their way up with their backs pushing against each other and their feet against the side of the wall. They get up to the top and they win. What I saw online was that TJ said in the beginning of it, you can't put your backs together and work your way up that way. That's
Crazy.
illegal. You can't do it. When they edited it for the episode, that they took that part out. And that when the cast was watching it live, they're all like, oh, Cam and Ash, they put their backs together and they climbed up it that way. They're like, you can't do that. Like, TJ said that was against the rules. Well, Cam and Ash did that. Everyone's thinking like, oh, they're disqualifying them. They're just going to have to start over. Well, TJ walks away to talk with production. They said it took like a half hour. All of a sudden, TJ comes back after a half hour and he's just like, Cam and Ashley, you're back in the house. And
Wow.
everyone in the cast was like, what? They're allowing that? So there's a lot of controversy whether Cam and Ashley followed the rules to that. It sounds like they didn't, but I think the producers ultimately were just like, fine, whatever. They can do that.
Yeah. I wonder if they were like, this 30 minutes of discussing it, we
Could
could
have
have
just reset the ray within that half an hour. Just
Right?
have them go
Yeah.
again or something like
Have them
that.
try again.
But you know what? They could have been like, maybe it was like, well, who DQ'd first, technically? Amanda and Josh.
Yeah,
Maybe they called it that way.
perhaps.
So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But staying with Cam, I mean, spoiler, she's gonna get eliminated. But I mean, giving her a record of 6-1, so she's still in the record books. She actually broke some records here. She beat out 4 legends, man, who hold a 5-1. She beat them by 6-1. Alton with 5-1, Landon, Kenny, Jordan. She just she beat them in the records.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, but you have to
Give it
look at
to
the
her. Just give it to her. Goddamn it.
What was Laurel's elimination record?
Well, it was like 9-0, or
Yeah.
something like that when it broke.
Laurel's
But I
the
think
queen.
these are live records right here.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think overall she's like the 5th or 6th. She's in the top 10 right now, though. Cam is. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Cam's awesome.
Yeah. But now she's gone. That sucks. But hey, move on to point number 5. Point number 5. I just have Bear written down.
That's all you need to say. Bear's amazing.
Bear,
I love
though,
him.
with 6 figures. There was a rumor that going around where the producers paid him about $100,000 to be on their show. And that's always been in the back of my mind whenever he's doing something really extremely annoying, where I'm like, oh, that's $100,000 worth right there.
I can't believe that they would pay that much to one person in the cast. Like, that's a legit rumor that they paid Bear that much money.
Yeah.
Wow. What is he from? I know he's on something.
I think UK Big Brother, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't even think he won either. So.
Wow. So they just thought this guy was so freaking crazy. They're like, we need him on the show because he's so freaking bonkers.
Yeah.
That's
But
nuts.
It's
But
kind
that's
of,
how can you pay that if the guy, because he could be eliminated like week 1 or week 2.
Exactly. So this is my theory on, because Bear goes into an elimination, him and Devon, against Gus and Jenna, and right away when it was happening, I was like, I smell some fuckery going on, man. Like
Yeah,
something's
Spidey
not right.
senses.
Yeah, they were tingling and shit. So let's get into round 1 where they're wrestling and stuff. I just remember writing down that Gus has Bear on the ground. Bear's on his back. And Gus goes to yank the stick out and away, but it slips out of his fingers.
Yeah.
Bear's able to retain or whatever.
Yeah, he just
and
holds
take the
on to it.
round, right? So we have round 2, and it's between Jenna and
Devon.
Devon. And I have written down, Jenna's on top, but the producers reset. And as soon as they reset, Devon's back is on the ground. Jenna is on the top, kind of trying to, wait her out a little bit, establish dominance,
Kind of gas the person out.
Yeah.
Make them tired.
Yeah, but, the whistle's blown. They're stood up and reset, which sucks. Jenna earned that, takedown, that position, or whatever. And then fucking Devon hits Jenna with a judo throw, kind of a hip toss.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, she's able to get it out of Jenna's thing. So right then and there, I'm like, a reset? I didn't see the guys get reset so far,
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now,
it
I'm
doesn't
like,
seem fair because Jenna even said, she's like, my strategy is to get on top of her and be above her and kind of, if I get her on the ground, be above her. That way I can, stand up and rip it away. Yeah. That was her goal. So she would get to that position where she would be on top of her. But because she didn't rip it away fast enough, because they were there for a minute or so, then you're going to stand them up? That's not fair.
No. We get into round 3 where it's Bear and Gus again. Oh, that was hard. I wrote down Bear gasses Gus wins. I wrote that down as a note. So that's why I got all tongue-tied. So Bear gasses out, Gus wins. Okay. And I think, again, Bear is on the ground with his back on the ground,
Yep.
And Gus establishes dominance and eventually gets it. and
Yeah,
stuff.
getting that top position is very important.
So producers can't do anything about Bear,
Yeah.
Like they're just like he's really tired and shit. So they go to round 4, and again I have Jenna's on top, but they reset once again.
Wow.
So and eventually, Devon wins.
So you think this was the producer's way of trying to keep Bear in the game?
Protect their investment. They're like, we fucking spent, and like this is how much we give the winners just to be on the
Maybe the producers just saw how much in love with Georgia he was, and
Oh,
they
yeah,
wanted
that's
to
right.
see that romance blossom.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going.
All right, so finally, number 6, we get to the first twist of the season, I would say, like legit twist. And it's no more Relic, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
It kind of takes away some steam a little bit if someone's safe, and then no more teams. We already talked about that and stuff. So now we have a structure change, and it's not even at the very end. It's kind of like an Act 3 break or an Act 3 twist. So
I think in most seasons, anytime they do a big twist where they change from teams to partners or to solo or from solo to teams, I've always disliked it. I've always disliked it. This season, I'm okay with it. I don't know why. I can't even explain why. In fact, the season's been so good so far that they have earned my trust. Like, I'm fine with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I love these teams and these partners and how that was going to go. But you know what? If they're going to split up and it's all going to be solo from here on out, I'm like, yeah, so be it. Fine. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I feel like I should be upset that they're splitting up these awesome teams. But this season's been so good that I'm like, all right, fine. I'm along for the ride. Like, I love this season. It's great.
So no more teams, and we're gonna have straight up one winner again. It has not been done since Vendettas.
Not necessarily. There's second and third.
First, second, and third, but like individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like not just like one girl winner and one male winner, but anyone can.
Oh
win.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this is
So there's still prizes for first, second, third.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to be one guy, one girl, or anything like that.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's co-ed.
Yeah, co-ed. Sexy, right? Isn't that what people want? Third place, you get $50,000. That used to be the amount of money you were fighting for in the first place. Back in the day,
Then maybe you'd
$50,000.
get like a Nokia phone with like a 6-month contract.
Yeah, get your Chili's token. What was it called? Lifesaver from Chili's. Or something like that.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah,
Those are real prizes back then.
That's sweet. And then $200,000 for fucking second. That is crazy. That's a lot of money. That is, wow. And then first place, $750,000.
Which is awesome.
This might be the biggest guaranteed money to be given because the million could have been split.
Yeah, that's true.
So this time it's like for real. Like this is the largest amount to be promised. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. We're gonna start watching episode 10. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna step outside, Dave, and don't watch the episode without me. All right? I just gotta do something. It might take an hour. It might take an hour and 2 minutes.
We gotta run to the store or something. But once you get back, we'll watch episode 10.
Daddy's going to get some cigarettes. All right.
Okay. Bye.
All right, stop it. All right, so episode 10. And I got those smokes. You want some? You look...
No, I'm good.
Well, you look world weary. You look war weary. You look war worn. Did you watch an episode without me?
War of the World.
Oh
yeah,
my god, no!
Episode?
I went out to get some goddamn menthols, and this is how you repay me?
I can't believe you didn't watch the last episode.
I didn't. Well, you know what? Luckily, we got our handy dandy stopbeingpolite.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read it and I'm going to try and figure out what the fuck happened. And you could do like, I don't know, color commentary or whatever.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah. Stopbeingpolite.com. We don't own any stock in this. It's just a site
it's one of our favorite sites to go to for the challenge.
You don't think about it. It's very second nature. You're just on the site because it's like, he posts a lot of stuff. The future's Michael, that is.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right, so Challenge War of the Worlds, top 10 moments from episode 10. It's time for the singles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so now everyone is single. They're broken apart into teams. Every person for themselves.
Let's see here. Number 1, hurricane season. The challenge is named Fandemonium, and TJ brought out his hurricane fans for this one. All right.
Yeah,
Each
giant hurricane fans are fucking just insanely powerful. Just blowing. There's 3 giant fans blowing at them as they're trying to make their way up. Like there's a tarp on the ground and there's water and like debris and stuff like being blown at them, and they're slipping and sliding, and they got to carry these big yoga balls or something.
Oh shit.
And they got to put them in the bin in the goal and see how many they can do in 5 minutes.
I didn't know. Wait, these are just fans. There's no such thing as a hurricane fan, right? What do hurricane fans do?
Well, that's what TJ calls them. But they're like the giant fans. You know, like the hovercrafts that they're like a giant boat kind of looking
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that go around like the Everglades in Florida.
Hmm.
The giant hovercrafts. Yeah, it's one of those giant fans. It's like
Oh,
the amount of wind that it can put off is like 150 miles an hour. It's like crazy.
So, but they tune it down a little bit because they have to run up 120 miles per hour winds. And shit.
Okay,
That's crazy.
120 miles.
So
yeah.
this simulates a Category 4 hurricane. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Out
It
of
was
how
one
many
my-
categories, though? I mean, let's be real.
There's 5 categories. 4
Really?
or 5, yeah.
4? That's super reckless.
Really? Well, there might be 6
Something
categories.
tells me a person could lose their breath and have to see medical attention. Someone from Turkey, perhaps.
Perhaps.
That's what it says. It says even though they have 10 total balls, no one gets them all. Multiple competitors find themselves struggling to breathe, and Turbo has to see a medic. This proves to be worthwhile as Turbo, Polly, and Theo all deposit 7 balls the fastest and make the tribunal. So this was co-ed. This was any guy, any girl?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoever got the most, and they got 7 was the most, and it was who was it again? It was Turbo,
Polly, and Theo.
Okay. Yeah. It was awesome. Like Turbo, he was he wasn't the first guy to do it, but he was in the first couple people to do it, and he is just annihilating it. He's grabbing the balls. He's running. You know, he puts his head down, pushing through the wall, pushing through the wind, up, putting the balls in the goal, and he's going just full speed the entire time. He puts his last ball in, and then they blow the horn. You know, that's the last. His time is run out for the 5 minutes, and he just falls to the ground. He's just gasping for air, and the horn blows. They're trying to give him oxygen. They're all like hovering around. They're like, "Hey,
He's like, no
have some
oxygen.
oxygen." And he's just like, and he's pushing it away. He's like, "How many did I get? How many did I get?" He's like, "How many goals did I get? How many balls were there?"
Do you
And
love
they're
me
like,
yet,
they're like,
Kyle?
"Just have some oxygen. We'll let you know in a minute." And he's just like, "No, you gotta tell me how many did I get?" And he's dying.
Holy shit.
And he was upset because they won't tell him how many he got in there. They're just trying to give him oxygen. And he was completely just like out of it. And I don't know, it was weird because it's like, it's not this like the most endurance type thing. It doesn't seem like. I guess it is more than you think. But with the fans, I think with the fans blowing on you, I think it really affected their breathing.
Oh yeah, that's
their
my
ability
guess.
to breathe.
Yeah.
And yeah, for for Turbo, it was crazy. Like he got worn out. But the thing is he didn't like fall over in the middle of it, like gassed out and tired. Like he finished it and he waited till the horn was blown, and then he was exhausted because you could hear him breathing like that, like labored breathing as he's doing it, but he wasn't quitting until the horn sound.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance.
That's pretty awesome. And then, Theo also won.
Was there any impressive performances outside of this? Like, give me a girl. Like, how did any girl impress you? Like, you didn't like girls?
Yeah, I like plenty of girls.
Alright.
Maddie did awesome. She did well. I think one of the problems for the girls was why they didn't do as well is some of them had trouble holding onto the ball. The ball was really big and round, and if you had short arms, like Georgia and Cara, both of them, they kind of slipped and fell, and they would lose the ball, and it would get blown back by the wind
Ooh.
because they couldn't quite reach their arms around and really hold on to that ball as well.
Wow.
So the shorter your arms were, if you had short reach, you weren't able to hold on to that ball as well. And then the other X factor was they're running up on this tarp that is there's water all over it, so it's super slippery. So if you
That's
lose your
almost
footing,
unnecessary
yeah,
right
if you
there.
lose your
Holy
footing, you're gonna do not as well. Uh, there's a very interesting part here. I don't know if they get to it later when Bear when he does his. Does it mention Bear? Do you know?
shit. They just mentioned that he's upset because he completed it, but not fast enough.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. So that's missing over. The big storyline of this entire elimination was Bear gets in 8 balls. And
Oh,
Bear knows he's like, I got an 8. He's like, I've won. And he comes back and he's yelling at Wes and he's talking trash to Wes like, hey, Wes, you didn't do as well. Wes, he lost grip on the ball, but Wes really struggled with his footing and he slipped a couple times. And I think he got 5 instead of 7. So Wes didn't do as well. Bear got 8, and he's trash talking. He's number 1. He knows he's safe. And we don't realize until it's after it's all over. TJ comes up, and we realize as viewers, but Bear didn't, and I guess the other contestants didn't, or at least they didn't show that.
Mm-hmm.
But when Bear, his first 2 balls, the goal was around a corner. Bear would just throw the ball, and then the fan would just blow it back to the end of the alley. There was obstacles or like there's some crates there and some barrels. You had to throw it into the bin. Bear wasn't throwing his ball into the bin. He just threw it around the corner. Then the fan would just blow it back, and it didn't count because it has to go into the goal. TJ comes out and says, like I said, how many balls you get into the goal? He's like, Bear, you only got 6 balls into the goal because 2 of those balls, the first 2 we did, they just blew back out. So the entire time, Bear is talking trash, like he got it. He's like, I got 8, and we're all watching. We're like, no, you didn't. Like you didn't listen to at all what you were supposed to do. He just took the ball to the end, threw it to the side, and then ran back. It was like, no, you got to put it in the goal.
Dang.
So Bear screwed himself over, and this is really pivotal in this entire episode and in Bear's season, because if he had gotten 8. He would have gotten first place, he would have been in that top 3, and he would have been safe from elimination. But he didn't. And Bear did the actual work of the elimination. He just wasn't thinking at the end and wasn't doing exactly what he was supposed to do. He just threw it around the corner. He didn't put it in the bin. If he would have done what he was supposed to do, he would have gotten in the top 3.
Yeah.
Like, Bear screwed up so hardcore here.
Oh my gosh.
It was just bizarre.
He might have made a 6-figure mistake.
He-
Producers.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so number 2, the features, Michael writes, the quick and loud. At the tribunal, Theo grabs 3 names and they quickly decide to nominate Kyle, Hunter, and Wes.
Yeah, so this was interesting. When all 3 guys, Theo, Paulie, and Turbo, like Theo and Paulie, they both just go up and they grab they just grab it right off the wall and they throw it down because everyone like knew who they were going to pick. Turbo, I think, wanted Hunter because they had gotten into a fight at the bar the night before and they had yelled at each other. I don't know.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I
think it says turbo mode in the next column there.
Yeah. So this was because of that. Like Turbo, and Hunter get into it. They start fighting. So Turbo grabs Hunter's name. Theo grabbed Wes, and
That's a surprise.
no, Paulie grabbed Wes. Paulie grabbed Wes because Wes.
Why not Kyle?
Maybe he grabbed
It's
Kyle.
Kyle, Hunter, and Wes are nominated. So I thought Paulie put in Kyle. Turbo put in Hunter. So then Theo grabbed Wes then?
Yeah.
Why? I wonder.
I think it was kind of a burn vote. It was kind of just like, I know he's not on my side. And
I
plus,
mean,
and also,
it
I
makes
think
sense, but
Paulie and Theo are both kind of aligned with Kara in a way, as much as whether they want to admit it or not. You know, because Paulie's a
Theo's
boyfriend.
Theo feels.
It seems like
Yeah.
it with him grabbing that. So,
No, I mean, I actually think it's smart. I mean, Wes is a good competitor. It does make sense to put him in. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised. I was just wondering if it was a personal thing
Yeah,
or
and
it's
these
just
aren't the final votes yet. It's just like the people you want to nominate. You don't want to make a new enemy if you don't have to. You're gonna go with the enemies you already have.
yeah. Let's go on to the questioning. The questioning, it says, is mostly repetitive, with Polly flexing on Kyle and Wes playing timid. The only exception is Hunter, who refuses to talk to anyone. He was. This is what he writes. All right. He tries to make some grand statement like he's Johnny Bananas, comma, but ends up looking like a douchebag.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. Because Hunter comes in there and he's like, "Hey, I don't want to take questions from you. This is all I have to say." And then they cut him off and they're like, "No, Hunter, we're up here. We dictate what is going to be said." And then they cut the commercial or whatever. They come back and Hunter says like, "Hey, this is," and he says his spiel. I don't even remember what it was, but they kind of shut him down. They sent him away. When Wes went out there, I think Wes asked, he's like, "Why am I here?" They asked, I think Theo asked Wes, "Why do you think you're here?" And Wes said, "I don't really know why I'm here. It's probably a burn vote or something like that." He's like, "I don't really think it's that big a deal." He's like, I feel like I'm probably fine. I think there's other people in this game that we need to get rid of first."
Wow.
And then it was just kind of cut away, and that was it. It was this. There was no big deal about Wes being there. It didn't really seem consequential.
I just gotta say this with the whole how they're like, you respect us, we're up here. It's kind of like if I have to if I have to be negative about anything, it's like the power really goes to people's head when they're at the tribunal, and we've seen some awful stuff. Well, not awful, but like embarrassing / awful. Like when Car's like, "We're up here, you're down there." It made me think of The Rock. When have you seen The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage? Remember when all those Marines pop up into the bathroom of Alcatraz and Ed Harris is he says that exact thing. He's like, because what's his name? Kyle Reese is there.
Yes.
Right?
Kyle Reese.
Right? He's like, "I cannot give that order." And something like that. You tell your men to stand down. God damn it, we're gonna shoot you. Can't you tell? And shit like that. And that's when that's when Westworld bad guy is just like, "We're up here, you're down there," and stuff. So I was like, Kara, you could be cool if that's what you were referencing, or you were just being a truly egotistical monster, like, "We're up here, you're down there." Now that was bad, right?
Yeah.
Also, I thought this was bad, and I felt bad because I was like, "Wes, don't do this shit."
Yeah,
where
Wes
he climbs down
and got in Bear's face.
He tries to push Bear out, and he can't move him, which is also amazing.
He did that, and then immediately afterwards, Wes puts his hands behind his back and holds his hands behind his back and is pushing his chest into Bear, and he's just like, "We dictate what goes on here. You're done. Get out of here." He's yelling, and I was like, "Wes, I'm like, come on.
I didn't like it.
We know you hate Bear, but just chill out."
Yeah,
Like,
it could have
I
been
don't know.
better.
It didn't
Maybe
seem like the right time.
Maybe he wanted the classic forehead to forehead thing.
And I think it was
like
kind of a
twice.
mind game by Wes, where he's like, "Bear seems a little unstable. Maybe Bear will try and punch me, and he'll get himself sent home." It was one of those things like, "Hey, I'm going to offer you a free shot. I'll put my hands behind your back. See if you take a swing." Kind of a Conor McGregor style.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just overall, these people in these tribunals, they really play it up. I don't know. Something about the air up there goes to their head, the power,
Yeah, that high altitude up there and those pedestals.
Number 3, we have turbo mode. Here we go. Now we're talking. After the tribunal meeting, Hunter states everyone is scared of him and no one can take him out. Georgia states that she could beat Hunter in a wrestling match. Then she states Turbo could beat Hunter. Oh shit! This is not good for. I am ultra human. I will respond to joust or whatever. Hunter says he could beat Turbo with his right arm tied behind his goddamn back in the South. Turbo takes this personally, and he starts to argue with Hunter. Most people are surprised to see. Yeah, I'm surprised to see this side of Turbo and agree you don't want to get on his bad side. The fight ends with Turbo calling Hunter chicken. "You are chicken. You belong in coop." But at the end of the day, Turbo has the power when it comes to the kung fu. So Take me there, man. I never expected Turbo to be like,
Everyone's like sitting there super chill. Turbo is chill, and they're just talking. And
Yeah.
Hunter's like, yeah, he's like, I could beat anybody. And Turbo's like, I'm not afraid of anyone. He's like, I'll beat anyone here. And then Hunter kind of like takes offense to, I don't know what exact remark it was, but Hunter takes offense. He's like, I could beat you. I'm not afraid of you. And Turbo's like, I would crush you. And he just says it dismissively. Whatever he said it dismissively of Hunter.
Yeah.
And Hunter realized he was being dismissed, and Hunter was not going to back down. And I don't know if this was like after they went to a bar or something, if Hunter was just drunk. Maybe I'm just making this up, but it seemed like Hunter must have been intoxicated. The way he was acting, I don't know, but Hunter's sober a lot of the times, and he acts completely irrational as well.
Okay, but this point is called Turbo mode. How would you just? I mean,
Well,
like, was it just
Hunter-
like people are shocked that Turbo's this intense or whatever?
What happens is Hunter goes Hunter mode
Yeah.
first, and he's like, I could tie a hand behind my back and I could beat you. And it was just like, dude, and Turbo was totally chill that entire time until Hunter just started going off, and Turbo's not going to take crap from anybody. He's like Habib, Habib Nurmagomedov, UFC's lightweight champion.
Yeah.
The way when Conor McGregor would talk trash to him, he wasn't going to take that because he knew he was better. So Turbo he stands up. He's like, I'm not afraid of you. He's like, I would destroy you. He's like, he gets in his face and tells him, he's
These
like,
are facts.
I would wreck you. And
Yeah.
Hunter is, freaking out and yelling and acting like a fool. But Turbo, even though he got super intense, like, he was still like in control and very calculated and measured, where Hunter seemed erratic and irrational, and it was like, Hunter, just lay off. Like, it's not even a point to be fighting right now, because ultimately, Hunter, you were voted and you might be going in, so you need to chill out, Hunter. Like, and the thing is like Wes and Kyle, they cut the confessionals of Wes and Kyle, and they're both just like, yes, Hunter, keep annoying everyone and being crazy, because this way you're going to get voted in. Like, Wes and Kyle loved it, because they're like, Hunter, you're making more enemies, you're going to get voted in instead of us, and that's good. And that's part of the reason why it's good for him to be an ally with Hunter, because Hunter is so irrational that it deflects from Wes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get to number 4 because we're running out of time. I feel like Vengeance on a Vendetta. Wrong season, asshole. No, I was kidding. All right. Despite their argument, Turbo sides with Kyle to send Kyle into the killing floor. I'm just reading it as is, man. He's spelled wit. So Turbo sides with Kyle to send Kyle into the killing floor, though. He calls out Bear, and the two are playing King of the World. TJ asks the competitors a question and then drops, and then 5 balls drop. The goal is to get the correct answer in your bucket.
Yeah. So all the balls are labeled with the answer to the question. So he'd ask, like, which of these countries has a monarchy? And then this is not UK, but there's like Japan and Chile and Ukraine and a couple other countries. And the correct answer is Japan. You gotta find that ball and then take it back to your bin and put it in. So, and people are yelling down answers, which I thought was lame.
Yeah.
So people are yelling down answers like, yeah, it's Japan, or, yeah, it's this. And basically, Kyle and Bear would wrestle over the ball. Kyle is bigger and stronger than Bear, and the size really mattered. So Kyle was just able to rip the ball away from Bear and throw it in his bin. And Kyle just did it over and over, and then when it came down to the last round, Bear had it. He had the correct answer. He was going for his thing, but Kyle tackled him. He ripped the ball away, and Bear kind of just gave up, and he kind of just like, he knew he wasn't going to be able to tackle Kyle, and Kyle put in the winning ball, and Kyle won.
Wow.
Real quick, I've always had a problem with the name Bear because it's like when he first came on, when I watched the very first episode, I know there was a guy from the UK named Bear, right? And I was like looking out for him and stuff. I thought Ashley C was Bear because he looks like a goddamn bear.
He literally looks like a bear.
Yeah, and then the comparison between Kyle and Steven, I gotta call him Steven or Stefan. What was it? Bear's real name is like Stefan.
Oh, I had no idea.
No, you don't know.
Well,
but now,
it's not terrible.
Again, Kyle is just bigger than Bear. So,
Oh yeah.
how did Bear earn this name? I'm kind of curious.
I don't know. I
Maybe
have no
he's
idea.
Big
That's a good
from
question.
Something, I don't know.
All right, so that's crazy, huh? That like there's Bear. He's gone for good.
Yep, he's
Yeah.
out of here.
I do
Bear
like the
gets a-
fact I didn't get to watch it, but I like the fact that two British personalities squared off like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It was cool.
It's like Michael Bisping and
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the thing that was
Dan
funny to
Harmon.
me is Kara and Paulie are watching, and they're rooting for Kyle to lose, and Kyle ends up winning, and so Kara and Paulie are both just like defeated again because this is second time Kyle's gone into elimination and won.
Yeah.
Kara's been upset that he's not going home. She's done her due diligence. She's somehow gotten him in there twice, but Kyle keeps winning. He's a little underrated, or at least under the radar. He does well.
yeah. I really didn't feel too much about Kyle. Like not bad, not good or anything, but
Yeah.
he's really kind of won me over in a way, in a weird way. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he
think-
hasn't really won me over or anything. It's
I
like
think
Kyle's
I-
Kyle. Like I'm fine with him. I like the fact that he's kind of chill about the Kara Paulie thing, where he just kind of laughs about it, and he's
He's
like,
the
"Come
rational
on."
one of that.
Yeah, he's like, "Come
Yeah.
on, let's move on." Like, "Come on, like, what are you guys doing? Like, back off. I'm over it. Get over it yourself."
Yeah, between the two, I'm kind of glad Kyle stuck around because I have learned to like him more. And Bear, I'm just like, like this.
You know
you're
what? As
100,000
much as you love Bear, you hate Bear. Like I hate Bear. He's super annoying. But Bear is like that crazy friend you have, and if you only see that crazy friend for 1 hour a week, it's okay because you're like, all right, I'm gonna let this craziness into my life for that 1 hour once a week, and I'm okay with it because he's so out there and weird and funny that.
Yeah.
I appreciate him. He is entertaining. I'm definitely not rooting for him, And I guess, but he has gone long enough in this season where he's done his part. And you know what? His time is up, and I'm okay with it.
He left a
If he would have gone after like episode 3, I would have been like, that guy's annoying as shit. Like we saw enough of him to at least appreciate his sense of humor and his craziness.
Yeah.
Number 5, the fast goodbye. After Bear gets eliminated, Georgia is sobbing because her boy toy is leaving. TJ also lets Kyle know that his elimination is sponsored by Burger King, and he has a surprise coming his way. He gets to take 3 guests. He picks Maddie, Nanny, and Devon. No one knows what the surprise is yet. It could be safety or it could be a Whopper. Oh, that's
Yeah.
lame. That's it? They ended like that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was basically just Georgia is bawling, crying because Bear is leaving, and Bear just turns to everyone and waves, turns away, and walks away. Like he did not go up to Georgia and hug her and say goodbye or
Oh, yeah.
anything.
She meant nothing to him.
And he says to the camera, he's just like, "Yeah, I don't remember what he said, but he's like, yeah, I couldn't, I didn't have it within me to say goodbye." He's like, "I just had to go." And it was basically just like, all right, that's the end of this one night stand for Bear. Like he's going back to his cousin. He's done with that. And Kyle's gonna eat Burger King with his lady friends.
Yeah. Have to make up with his cousin, which typically happens in the South, Georgia, for instance.
Or South Liverpool or wherever Bear is from.
The
Who knows?
Georgia of Liverpool. I would have thought Georgia of the UK.
Yeah, so Bear's gone. Yeah, and this is the first solo elimination, so only Bear is gone. He doesn't have a partner gone with him. So Devon, there's not really a whole lot in this episode for Devon.
Yeah, she was mostly reactionary to Bear.
Yeah.
She was just
But you know what?
like handcuffed to a lunatic.
Yeah, and now Devon is free to play her own game, which is awesome for her because to me, she's the most entertaining female on this season. She's the most likable person. I love Devon. She's so great. And, she's no longer attached to Bear. Now Bear is gone. Georgia's going to miss Bear. She's kind of lost without him. So
Okay. Well, yeah.
that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So we won't get into
Subscribe,
spoilers for the
comments,
next episode.
Subscribe. Like.
Very enthusiastic of you.
All right, so yeah, that's the end of this. God damn it. I don't know when I'm going to record again. I just got to say that real quick. Like, the reason why this season's been so off has been time and money constraints and just sickness. Like, I was sick there for a big patch of it and stuff. And I used to be able to do this, like, basically every week and catch up, but I just haven't been able to do it. So it's about time I get some time.
To
Yeah, to
wrap.
talk about how great this season is.
Yeah.
Because it's really been awesome.
It has-
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. But who knows when I'm gonna have it covered or whatever. But yeah, this was Battle of the Shadows podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Hardcore Dave.